all fake.
I am oddly comforted by watching myself get killed over and over. It fulfills a bit of a fantasy that I've always had.
Careful what you say. I have to report that.
Oh, sorry. No.
I see your YouTube account's playlist, and there's like a sleep playlist, and it's just this sort of master cut of you being decapitated, disemboweled.
I have like 10 hours of Tommy Bechtold getting murdered that I watch to go to sleep.
Oh my God.
I put it on the background in my party.
Welcome to Oops All Segments, the very best podcast hitting your eardrums at this very moment. I'm Kevin.
You try to innovate visually. After all of these episodes, you try to just add a little flavor, a little personality to the intro. There's only so many ways we can dance. And I have the great idea to move with my camera. Check us out on YouTube if you think you want to see that. And Kevin's upset about the audio quality. My name's Thomas. We're here with returning guest. Our Cellino and Barnes correspondent, Tommy Bechtold, is back. Welcome, Tommy. What is the news with Cellino and Barnes?
Well, absolute update here. It's just the Barnes firm now, and Cellino and Associates. The divorce is final. The assets have been divided. I think last time we spoke, Barnes had died, so that is not any breaking news. And now his eerily similar-looking brother has taken over as the new Barnes in a very Game of Thrones style succession of legal superiority.
I can't wait for the HBO series based around
the Ren Fair. Well, actually, I was going to announce this might be a breaking story. I don't know if you've heard this yet, Tommy, but there is an off-Broadway premiere of Cellino v. Barnes, a new play.
Oh my God.
Opening on July 23rd, running through October 13th at the Asylum in New York City. So,
wow.
Yeah. Well, how did you know about that, T?
I Googled it before the episode. I looked up Cellino and Barnes news because I wanted to impress our guest.
And I am dazzled. And I'm going to try and make my way down to off Broadway. Catch that show instead of... whatever else is playing that night, I will be at the Cellino.
Move over The Outsiders, the musical. We've got Cellino v. Barnes.
I don't care about your slow motion choreographed dance fights. I want to watch two grown men bully each other and then get $5 million settlements for slip and fall scam artists.
Yes.
I'm into it.
It sounds like top level entertainment. It does sound great. Is there anything new going on in your life, Tommy? What's up with you?
I mean, well, so much is new, boys, since we last spoke. I now live in New York instead of California, which is,
We usually invite you onto the show after you've suffered a great loss.
Yes.
Is there anything that you're sort of...
Yes. I've lost my dignity. Everything's great. I have my new podcast, Guardians of the Palaxy, with my best pals, MT and Whitney. You can check that out at Got Pals and on YouTube at Guardians of the Palaxy. What else? Oh, I'm going to Comic-Con for Screen Crush.
Oh, nice. That'll be cool.
Covering Comic-Con for Screen Crush with Whitney.
That's next week, right?
That is next week. So
Marvel's got all kinds of buzz going on.
Marvel has they really I think diabolically, like, last minute we're actually doing a full panel and a bunch of other stuff. And
we're going to release the biggest movie of the summer.
And on that weekend. It's quite a flex for all those that declared Marvel dead. I feel like they may be mistaken, especially if they show some Fantastic Four footage on that stage, which I feel like they might. So Whitney and I will be there for that, covering all of your Comic-Con needs. And then I'm also very, very excited about getting a good look at the Penguin series on HBO Max. And they're doing a really cool Iceberg Lounge pop-up.
Oh,
so
that's fun.
You have to reserve
you see the Batman,
tickets.
Thomas?
I've seen him, yeah.
No, like the movie, no, Jesus fucking Christ.
He's usually at a distance.
I'm aware of him.
He's at a distance, like he'll be perched on top of a gargoyle or something. But I've spotted him out of the corner.
Yeah. You've got keen eyesight.
It's actually a great movie. The new Matt Reeves film is fantastic.
It's a great movie, and I thought, as dubious as I always am when someone makes the brave decision to don a fat suit and portray a character that is obese, I'm always like, well, thank God we have Colin Farrell. He absolutely nailed it. He nailed it, and you can't. It's kind of unassailable. I don't know that there is a actor.
I'm waiting for the Whale remake with Colin Farrell.
Oh my God! Please. If we want to talk about the Whale, we're gonna have to cancel the rest of the show, and I will spend an hour explaining how much that movie has negatively impacted my life in many ways. As I have to just be like, yes, it was very brave of Brendan Fraser to wear not only a fat tummy, but also put fat arms on. I can't believe that he did that.
Yeah.
And then we were all like, this is amazing. In every interview, he's like tearing up, being like,
Oh, what the fuck?
Shit. We have a little bit of a lightning storm right now, guys. And I believe what you just witnessed was the ghost of Brendan Fraser. Evidently, the mummy.
I was going to say.
Whoa!
I
dare not say his name again.
Arnold Vosloo is after you.
Jesus. Well, anyway, needless to say, we can simply say that Oswald Cobblepot fat suit, good. Brendan Fraser, the whale fat suit, stupid.
Penguin good, the whale bad, right?
Brendan instilled me with hope that at any time I could take a step and ascend to heaven.
Yes.
Which is what every young Jewish boy imagines his final moments will look like.
Yes.
So I can't wait to finally do that.
Yeah.
I wish that for you. And other than that, just everything going great in America right now. So don't worry about it.
Awesome.
Don't ask too many questions. Everything's fine. We're all fine. Everybody's fine.
Yeah,
everything
it's awesome.
Is good.
It's dope. It's sick. We say this every week. America's on track.
Yeah. We have got this figured out, boys.
Kevin, what's going on with you, man?
What's going on with me? I am concerned. I am worried. Thomas, we, as you know, having Spotify recently, actually, you may not know this, Spotify recently, because they've started hosting our podcast as a video podcast.
Nice.
There's a comments function now, so you can leave comments on Spotify. So not great, but more importantly, we've been on YouTube since the podcast began.
Obama listed us on his top 10 songs of the year playlist.
Wow!
Yeah.
It goes Chapel Roan, you guys, and Sabrina Carpenter.
Exactly.
That's all Obama listens
He loved the Dan Tompkins episode.
There's some random episode. But what I am worried about is, as you know, our massive, very active audience on YouTube. I'm just a little bit worried about here. I'll just screen share this headline I read today, and it sort of concerned me a little bit about maybe the future of our podcast's sort of popularity, because this matters to the algorithm. So it says, YouTubers demand platform take action against disgusting comment bots.
Wow.
Now, I'm afraid that if YouTube does do that,
that's a big
we're not going to have any comments.
That's our bread and butter. We need the
disgusting comment bots
to engage, to get a conversation started.
Is this the bots that are commenting on the video, or the bots that simply invite you to click a link and enjoy a garden of pleasures unimaginable to a non-robotic mind?
Either way, we're happy. I mean, it's like, look, you could take the sex bots off Tinder and I might lose a little less money in credit card scams, but would I get any matches without them? And the answer is simply no.
And the way I view that is that, I pay for those services anyway, and I don't use them. It's like taxes,
Premium.
I pay for it, but I don't ever go on it. I pay for it so that the bots have something to do.
I actually just monitor it to see if I can find my wife on it. I have a platinum account. I just want to make sure she's not on it. It's simply a way for me to keep tabs on her, because she's a wildcat.
Right. Yeah. Really backwards way to do it.
It's like the modern version of the Wicker Man. You're just scouring this creepy environment, seeking your missing wife.
Yes.
Yes.
That's all I ever do. It's one part Wicker Man, one part Silent Hill, one part Notting Hill, because I'm just a guy standing in front of a woman asking her to love me.
I like it.
Last time I saw
Swiping in front of
Notting Hill, Hank was proud of Bobby. So
What the fuck?
Yeah.
This isn't the Hill Kings podcast.
he's
This is too
actually
much.
feeling so good about his son.
Oh my
No.
lord! Oh my lord!
Oh,
okay.
God.
T, what's going on with your life, please? Before
I would love to. Yeah, I wish I had more to share. I guess for the last like half year or so, I've mainly just been kind of sitting by the phone, waiting for Tommy to actually invite us on his podcast. I feel like you said last time
Oh yeah.
that was in the ether, and I've sort of just been
I forgot about
gathering
that too.
dust, as it were.
Well,
just
if I can,
cobwebs in my
give you
ears.
guys a few updates on that,
Yeah.
I believe at that point the podcast I was doing was called "Have a Drink with Me." Since then, I
Yeah.
am not doing that podcast anymore, and although I wish my friend Dylan good luck with it, I found personally a podcast that involved me binge drinking on a Wednesday night, during the week, to 6 of our most loyal family and friends. Was not a functional way
Yeah.
for me, and
Detrimental
I
sort of to the
believe the
health.
current iteration, and then this is a genuine honest shout out, is doing much better as Dylan interviews a friend and they just have a casual sit down and sip a couple cocktails. I
Right,
think Dylan and I, although we are great friends and love to hang out together, bring out the worst in terms of toxic masculinity and well, let's go shot for shot. And the idea of it seems so fun when you're an out of work actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You move home to work for your family business because you're now a disgraced actor. It's
Yeah.
not as simple. So,
No, yeah, there's
while
more.
I'm not shying away from the invite, and while I'm saying coming to a Palaxy near you, let's get you boys on the Palaxy ASAP.
Yeah.
I will say it was a little bit of a user error on my end as the have a drink with me portion of my life. So dried up as they say. So
That's
I
very
do
fair.
I do apologize for the old bait and switch.
I get
But
it.
after
And-
all that knowledge that Thomas dropped on the Batman, I'm very confident that he would soar to great new heights on the Palaxy. So
Thomas, you're going to be in town. You're going to be in Winnipeg next week, right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I was trying to go see Deadpool and Wolverine, the first screening that was going to be in Winnipeg, right?
Yeah.
And our friend Luke, very good friend of the show, frequent guest, was supposed to go with me with another friend. And they've just, I went ahead and bought tickets too soon. So I got excited and they were going fast. And so I bought tickets too soon. And now they can't come. So can I break your superhero hymen?
Please don't make me answer on the show.
Answer now in front of me and God and this giant
I feel like
heavy Mandalorian statue that I have. Made out of
let me just say
answer in
this.
front of Din Djarin. Swear to Din Djarin.
Let me demonstrate my vast knowledge on the show.
Oh my God, that thing is heavy and sharp.
Yeah, it looked heavy.
I'm gonna answer, and I'm gonna make reference to both the central characters in this film.
Okay.
So much like Wolverine, you will heal from this.
Uh-oh.
You will heal.
Dangerous premise.
But I feel like
I don't think Tommy can hear us at all anymore.
you don't need.
It's
It's best that he doesn't hear this.
I'm really struggling right now. That's why my screen was so dark. It wasn't plugged into a power source.
Kevin, you don't
Fraser!
You don't need to go to a Deadpool movie with a friend because Deadpool also knows he's in a movie. So it's kind of like he's your pal, letting you know, hey, I'm watching this too.
Right.
I'm having a good time. And if you think I'm not going to join you at this film, just like Deadpool, you've got me pegged. So I will not be attending. Thank you for the invite. Shit looks bad.
I have to say,
Did you say shit looks bad?
I did.
Yes. Oh, I love it.
You let me down so gently that I'll just accept it.
I've never wanted to.
Now I'm going to sit in a theater with 2 empty seats beside me for this
Hey,
fucking
you want to know
movie.
what? Honest to God, my dream.
Yeah?
Yeah.
My dream to sit. I watched Interstellar.
In Winnipeg?
In Winnipeg. I watched Interstellar at the Universal Studios AMC City Walk, not to brag, at 11 o'clock at night. in IMAX in a theater by myself, and it was heaven. It was pure heaven. Just me and McConaughey going through stuff.
That's amazing.
It was wonderful.
Amazing. That sounds nice. Maybe I'll enjoy it. I can almost. Here's what's actually going to happen. Half of our listenership, my mother's going to see this episode, and she's going to mention that she's free, and then she'll probably end up going.
Yeah, and that's the perfect movie to see with your mom, because there's a lot of stuff that she might not
references
understand.
To pegging.
Yeah. Or if she does understand, it's almost worse.
Yeah. Which is honestly probably the reality I'm going to be in, but that's okay. Thomas is creating that for me. Let's move into doing a segment, shall we, T?
Sure.
Yes, I would love to.
Yeah. Okay.
I wanted to quickly say before we spin the wheel that it feels like, I know there's been some disappointing flops in the movie industry recently with Furiosa and Garfield, Lasagna, Taylor-Joy, and all that. But that was not my joke. But I tried to see Longlegs, the new Nick Cage horror movie, and it was sold out. Kim and I could not get 2 seats together, and I was like, that's kind of a surprising sellout. It was Friday.
The marketing behind that movie is incredible. They're doing a really good job of getting people behind it. Have you seen it, Tommy?
I have never seen a horror movie in theaters because I'm a little scaredy cat.
Yeah, no sweat. Thomas and I are like devout Nick Cage fans.
I love Nicolas Cage, and this movie has so much buzz. Actually, that's not true. I lied. I have seen a couple of horror movies in theaters for different circumstances. Some of them I'm in, so I have to watch them. Others of them, like the peer pressure and the age I was so strong that I think. But they've been very tame.
Is it scarier to watch yourself in the film because it really completes the nightmare of like, I'm being hunted right now?
Yes.
Or does it protect you because you know it's
I am oddly comforted by watching myself get killed over and over. It fulfills a bit of a fantasy that I've always had.
Careful what you say. I have to report that.
Oh, sorry. No,
I see your YouTube account's playlist, and there's like a sleep playlist, and it's just this sort of master cut of you being decapitated, disemboweled.
I have like 10 hours of Tommy Bechtold getting murdered that I watch to go to sleep. Oh my god! Night. I put it on the background in my parties. It's fun.
Hey, I'll try to get you some new footage.
Terrifying stuff. Should we spin the wheel?
Yeah, let's spin it.
Okay. Spin that wheel.
Woo! Oh, also, check me out here with my own little can of club soda.
Very nice.
Club soda
Improv.
Nice.
Okay,
what's over there? Those are our times for the Fringe Festival.
I'm going to be honest here. I spun the wheel twice, and both options are unacceptable. So I'm going to pick one of the options near one of the other options. I'm not going to say why. I'll just say that both of them involve reading the latest headlines and discussing them. I feel like if you live in this time in history, we're just going to bump that down one number, and we're going to say Give a Shit is the segment, which is participants talk about something you genuinely give a shit about. So we're each find what's a passion, what's something that we're really feeling fired up about lately that we'd like to discuss.
I think here's something I'm feeling fired up about, and this is going to be real. Hopefully you guys can turn the ship around because we're about to get sad as hell.
Fun.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think
at a funeral, fired up, ready to go.
Fired up, ready to go. I think
cremating the body. Sorry, go ahead.
Maybe that hope is bad, right?
Okay. Bars.
I think maybe here's maybe not explicitly that, but
the audacity
I feel like
of no.
hope is being used. Yeah, hope is being used as a pacifying agent to people. I think too much, and I think it's so much so that it's allowing people to be like afraid of change because hope allows you to sort of be complacent with the current status of things. And I think people are sold hope, and I think they're packaged hope and given hope. I think it gets overrated. So that's a very serious take, but I do think that I think that's true.
In your view, the pessimistic take where it's like things won't get better, there is no possibility for change, will actually lead to more change because through despair comes revolution or something like that?
I don't know that I would subscribe to that so much. I don't know that. I think I'm just saying that I think people need to be maybe more cautious of how they.
Right, it's too easy to have a little sip of the hope pixie stick.
I'm pretty much like a nihilist or absurdist in my own right. Yeah. So like I don't think that it's actually a better thing that everybody thinks that way. I think it's probably better if people have a little bit of distance from those things. This is a weird dip in the podcast where Kevin gets really serious and sincere about his philosophy. But
I think that is a really interesting needle to thread, because I do agree. I think that there's there's such a thing, like, you know, the fad 2-3 years ago was to just put toxic in front of everything.
Yeah.
Toxic positivity, toxic. But I do believe there is a poison side to hope when it's delusion. When it's not based in reality, and when it's based in when it's not actually hope, it's really more excuse making. Disguise with like a hope Fortnite skin over it, to relate to the kids.
When they added Peter Griffin to Fortnite, I felt hope for the first time in a long while.
When they added Lois Griffin to Pornhub, I felt hope for the first time.
She's not just in the sidebar ads anymore.
No, she's straight up on there.
Full account and everything.
No, I think that Kevin. I think it's very healthy to have a relationship with faith and hope and anything else like that is measured in not burdening other people with your inability to take personal accountability.
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes we all need a friend to lean on and a family member to lean on, and that's perfectly fine. There's no shame in that. But if your entire life is based on someday things will get better, they just must. I have belief they must get better. It's never going to get better, and your whole life story will be you walking up this hill that you've this mountain you've created.
Toward a carrot you've put on a stick in front of your own head.
This might be as good as it ever gets. Like today. It might get a little bit worse the rest of your life. So let's enjoy. Can we enjoy
and your life might be short.
Decent, can we just
Brendan
give
Fraser's
us 5
Ghost.
fucking stars? That like if this is the last good day, can you say that this podcast is actually going pretty well?
Yeah.
Can
you hit
you're
subscribe
listening right now?
Do you have the ability to hit subscribe? Do you have it in your heart to hit thumbs up? Leave a comment.
Do you have it? I'll go this far. Do you have it in your heart to go into the description, to click on the link to the Club Soda Improv show? You might not be in Winnipeg during the Winnipeg Fringe Festival, but you're going to buy some advance tickets anyway. If you don't show up, we sell them to people at the door.
Spirited tickets.
Do you have it in you to give us
just
money?
Like a Deadpool and Wolverine in our theater, purchased by out-of-town well-wishers. So
that's something I give a shit about.
Take, Kevin. I struggle with this one. I struggle with this one as a therapist. You know, installation of hope is a big part of what we do.
Yes,
sure.
It also needs to be realistic. It can't just be like fantasies of things getting better, or that, you know, all things are all about to change, or that everything's as stable as we might wish that it were. I'm gonna talk next, if that's okay, Tommy. I've got
of course, please.
Bone to pick, and the lowest ads actually are pretty relevant to this. I mean, this is not an original thought, but the internet has been completely destroyed, in my opinion. Like, whatever good qualities it may still have, it's like search engines are virtually unusable. Every news article is written by AI. It has like 1,500 words. You have to scroll down 10 times to get to the actual content. There's so many ads, it like breaks your phone. And I've been thinking about like when there is just no regulation on advertisement, when like cookies and stealing data and just putting things in every possible corner that you can create these like even hazards to your computer if you accidentally click on it, that I was thinking, what is left? And I was talking about this with some friends, and like, to me, maybe the last form of digital media that doesn't have commercials in it are video games, I think. And it feels like inevitable that they will, right? That the next God of War.
I mean, I would even argue that
and
like,
some of them do now.
There is like in sports games, there's like banner advertising, and there's like I would say the lines already have begun to blur there.
It is starting, but I can foresee you pay for PS Plus or else in the middle of God of War the
And like
next
mobile
one.
games. I mean, mobile
games are already broken like this, but I think like on a console, you can imagine I could play Elden Ring for 100 hours and never see a commercial or any product placement.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that time is running out, and I can imagine a time where
Oh man.
if you want to fight the boss again,
That
and
sucks.
the boss is really hard, you might have to fight the boss like 50 times to win. You can fight it a little faster if you pay to skip the ads, but every time you die, you're gonna watch like a 15-second insert for Verizon. And I feel like that is coming,
that
right?
sucks.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
That-
coming.
I think paywall technology has been major corporations have been trying to usher in paywalls for everything for a long time. And you're right. I mean, the only thing that keeps video games even remotely pure, quote unquote, is that you can still physically buy a disc and put it in. And the audacity of putting commercial breaks on a piece of media that you purchased is so, loathsome. But pretty soon, those physical discs are probably going to go the way of the dinosaur. And
Same
we'll
with all
have
those other physical media.
I mean, at this point, I think to me, the only positive things on the internet, I mean, like, sure, there's looking up sports highlights or occasionally a funny video or, like, seeing your friends, connecting with friends that you don't live in the same town in. But, like, pay applications like Zencaster or StreamYard or Riverside, those are the only things that are working for me on the internet right now are, like, paying to have a Canva account to easily design things.
Yes.
That is relatively, like, that is the internet working for me. Other than that, completely unusable. Everything on my phone, completely unusable because...
No, it's true. You can't I long for the days of when YouTube was first around. I long for the old Wild West of the shitty internet that was like just way less capitalist, way more like
I was listening to
random message boards and chat rooms and just like it was also fucked up, but it was like it's still fucked up.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not any less fucked up now.
This guy Ed Zitron, I think is his name, talks about the rot economy, and he was talking about how like Google is now motivated they're motivated by the number of queries that people make, which ironically means the shittier the results of your search are, the more searches you'll have to make to get what you're looking for, which means they can show you more ads. So actually they're motivated financially to make their product worse so that you have to use it for longer in this kind of like attempt to just, even though Google was this, billions of billions dollar corporation, to make that profit grow a little more, they can dramatically worsen what they do so that
and as like a
benchmark
tool of society, that's pretty fucked up, like as like something that people replace the phrase look up on the internet with, and it's now actually like not an ideal substitute for that. Because nightmare. Wow, this segment is dark. I thought I was
Tommy,
going to...
please
Tommy,
bring us
what do
home
you
with
give a
something you're
shit
happy
about?
I'm going to pivot out of my original idea to pivot into some happiness. I think, here's what I feel about it. I'm a big sports fan. I am a giant... I love all sports, really. I've recently even embraced the global game, the beautiful game, soccer, or football, as it's referred to in Europe. But I really, really think that in one of the more genuine efforts by a mega billion-dollar entity, Major League Baseball's coverage of the All-Star Game and influence and infusion of Latino or Latin influences, as the game is in Texas, and near and so many Latin American players are in it, has felt so much less forced and weird than any other diversity initiatives in sports have felt. I'm not talking about Black Lives Matter and those major real issues, but I'm talking about like whenever they force like NBA players to wear like Latin Heritage Night jerseys, and it's
we do that with like very big land acknowledgments because we're in Canada.
Yes,
so,
sure.
And then they'll give the like our hockey teams like jerseys that have like an indigenous artist who's reimagined the logo.
Yes.
And then that's about as far as it goes.
Right.
And they sell those jerseys to that community and charge
of course
them way too much money for
$249 for a sweatshirt.
Exactly.
But Yeah, I just
so
feel
this is
like
feeling good.
I'm rambling this off because I was going to talk about how nostalgia leads to death, but I'm going to I'm changing it to I have been impressed by Major League Baseball's seemingly authentic infusion of Latin culture into the All-Star game and using Latin American comedians and celebrities to do player introductions has added a little touch of flair that was funny and enjoyable. And I tip my cap in a region that is an area of media that can often feel so false and forced. I feel like they've done a really good job.
That is cool.
I tip my cap to you. I give a shit about that.
Hopefully
No, that felt forced. No, I'm just kidding.
I want to do one other sports shout out. I'm not a sports fan, but I believe that Blake Griffin is bringing back slam ball, which is
what?
very exciting.
What a perfect person to do that.
It's in the works. They are investing in it big time.
Hell yes. That's actually great.
Yeah. It's
big news.
Coming. I think everyone's going to be excited if that comes back.
Slam ball. There is a space now because of streaming and because of the power of broadcasting on the internet and on our phones. There is a space for slam ball now because there are sports that I would have never thought people would care about.
That slam ball used to be on the Men channel. Right?
It was. It used to be on Spike TV.
Spike.
Because wasn't Mark Cuban the architect of slam ball?
I think so. I believe
that was his thing. And
that's right.
He,
okay. Yeah. Well, speaking of how capitalism's ruined everything, here's an ad break.
Webster's Dictionary defines podcast as a domesticated, odd-toed, hoofed mammal with a great affinity for oats.
That's a horse.
Oh, right.
But we are a podcast, and we're called Roommate Lovers.
We do advice questions such as, why is my roommate using my toothbrush?
How do I flirt without being creepy?
Why are you using my toothbrush?
I told you, I just couldn't find mine that day. We live together and are together, which is why we call the show Roommate Lovers.
We're roommate and lover. We're roommates and lovers.
Well said.
Gross. Find new episodes of Roommate Lovers on Mondays wherever you podcast.
Now that's a podcast of a different color.
You mean horse?
Yes, of course.
And we have returned. Tommy, you have a segment for us.
I do.
What is it, pray tell?
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop!
Yes, I think so.
Boys, it's 2024 and it's summertime, and you know what that means. The Psycho Circus is back in town. That's right. August 17th, the gathering of the Juggalos will once again commence.
Yes.
In a field, I believe, in Ohio. And the lineup this year is just as nasty, and twisted, and psychotic as it's ever been. And I got to say, when I read the names, I found it hard to believe that some of them were real. So what I've done is create a little bit of a quiz for you guys called Insane Clown Posers.
Beautiful.
It's a 5-round quiz. I'm going to give you 3 names of artists. You're going to tell me which one is not performing at the gathering of the Juggalos.
Right.
All right.
This is beautiful.
This is a great segment. Let me just confirm. Should Kevin and I both guess, and then you'll tell us the answer so that we can kind of...
That's correct.
Pick. Okay, great.
That's correct.
For the uninitiated listeners, specifically, I know my mom is going to text me and ask me what this is about. Mom, the rest of you out there, the Insane Clown Posse is a hip-hop group that blew up in like the late 90s, mid-2000s. They dressed like clowns. I think they got into backyard professional wrestling for a
They certainly
while.
were. They not only got into backyard professional wrestling, they wrestled briefly for both World Championship Wrestling and the WWF.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Shout out to ICP. But they have this sort of like crazy subculture of I don't even know how to describe it.
In fact, Kevin's mom, if I may interject, one of the elements of the gathering of the Juggalos is multiple nights of professional wrestling.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So that's part of it. All right. So anyway, and they
some,
also have weird
like,
names. Like
there's like some political involvement that they now do. They're an interesting subculture. I'll just say too. Or go ahead, Tommy.
No, I was going to say, that's a great point because I think it was like 8 or 9 years ago during one of these massive government sweeps, the FBI declared the Juggalos a gang.
What?
Now, the Juggalos are a lot of things. They are very silly, very profane, very outrageous, associated with redneck, white trash culture or just, in general, doing things the dirty, gritty way. But they also have a huge philanthropic arm, and their general message is like wrestling, fake wrestling, cartoonish horror, violence, real peace, and real fellowship. Like the gathering of the Juggalos is meant to be like, yes, we are all probably outcasts in our individual communities, but together we like this group. So let's all come together in this field in Ohio for a few days. It's like when theater camp happens, and all the theater kids from all over the state get together, and they're like, wow, I'm not being bullied for the first time. So sorry, Thomas.
That is very good.
No,
so
that's
they are no longer classified as a gang, and now have been recognized for their philanthropy. I'm not a Juggalo, but I will say I certainly saw the humor in them being classified as a gang.
Yeah,
with the knowledge of like what they actually are about. So anyway, blah blah blah.
And yeah. Well, let's get into it.
Shall we begin?
Ready to guess.
I'm into this. Okay.
All right. So these are all main stage performers. These are all music performers. There is also stand-up comedians. I believe there's motivational speakers. There's also something called Queen of Cheeks, the Queen of Cheeks competition. And the Juggalette of the Year competition. Now, Queen of Cheeks, I assume, must have something to do with booties, and the Juggalette is a bit of a beauty contest. Now, okay, so let's go round one here. Let me pull up my score. Welcome to Insane Clown Posers. 5 action-packed rounds of multiple choice questions where you identify which bands are in the gathering and which ones will be gathering outside because they are not invited. Our first round. Which one of these 3 will not be performing at the gathering of the Juggalos in 2024?
And we're each guessing, right?
Yeah.
You may each guess. Bible Belt Massacre. Mayor McSleaze. Ouija Mac.
Oh man,
2 of them feel McDonald's related. Mayor McSleaze is.
I'm gonna say the Bible Belt Massacre is not performing, although I do like it as a name.
I think the one that uses Luigi's nickname, which I think was Ouija Mac, is the fake.
I think it's like Ouija, like a Ouija board, right?
I know.
Yes. Well, boys, take out your pens if you're keeping score and write a big fat goose egg because you're wrong. Mayor McSleaze was the one that I made up. Mayor McSleaze. Right.
We gotta. The real trick to this game is to figure out what one sounds the most like Tommy made it up, not really which one sounds the least like a Juggalo.
That's true. All right, round 2. Score is 0-0. We've got Wacko the Kid.
I'm sorry.
Silly the Kid was right there. I just don't see why.
But I want to point out, Wacko is spelled like the Animaniac.
Yeah, I figured. I figured.
Wacko the Kid. Bazooka Charks. Twisted Fisters.
Twisted Fisters is funny. That's almost too good of a pun. I feel like it's like a little too much of a joke that I'm gonna go with Twisted Fisters myself.
I gotta go with your boy Bazooka Chark. That's just too funny.
The answer is Thomas on the board. It was Twisted Fisters.
Yes.
That was a little too smart. Okay. This next one is a theme round, and it is S's. These are all bands with S names. Okay. And I'm really excited for the next round after this.
Just for a second, can you imagine having a motivational speaker named Bazooka Chark? Come on.
Hey, what's up? I'm Bazooka Chark. Well, wait till you hear these bands. Yeah. We've got Small Ones with a Z. Small Ones.
Okay.
Satan's Hot Tub. Skits Craven.
Skits Craven?
Skits Craven. Small Ones with a Z. Satan's Hot Tub.
I gotta say Satan's Hot Tub is the one you made up.
That's a good guess. That was also what I was leaning towards. But for the sake of the game, I will pick Small Ones with a Z.
Well, yeah, that one was a little too obvious. I should have done better on that. It was Satan's Hot Tub.
I like it. That's my favorite Tracy Morgan film. Oh no, wait, damn it. It's not Tracy Morgan. Craig Robinson.
Craig Robinson,
got the names
Satan's
mixed
Hot Tub Time Machine. All right,
Yes,
this
that's where
one
we're going.
is absolutely bonkers. Okay, it's 1-1. This is a T round. T. These are all bands that start with T.
Thomas is gonna have a benefit. Like he's
dialed in. Which one is fake? Trauma Too Sick. Trauma Too Sick. Twisted Insane. Twisted Insane. Or Taekwondo. Taekwondo.
Oh, I'm a Taekwondo fan. That's pretty good. Twisted Insane is
Trauma Too Sick.
Trauma
Twisted
Too Sick
Insane.
is clunky.
Taekwondo.
I'll let you go first, T, because I went first last time.
I do think it's Taekwondo.
Do you think it's Taekwondo?
I think it's Taekwondo.
I'm going to say Twisted Too Sick.
Well,
Taekwondo is the only one that kind of makes sense.
That's what I'm basing it on. The ones that are really good are Tommy's, I think.
It's actually Trauma Too Sick.
Oh.
That is not the answer. Taekwondo is the answer.
Yeah. Oh, fun.
All right, Kevin, you've
Yeah.
got to get this last one right
Here
to
it
force our bonus round.
Okay. All right.
And if not, Thomas will be our winner.
I can't stand to have that be the case.
Come on, baby.
I simply cannot.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Here it goes.
which one of these three will not be performing at the 2024 Gathering of the Juggalos? Is it Mikey Rotten, Scrooge McFuck, or Mercules? Mercules.
Okay.
Scrooge McFuck. Scrooge McFuck. Scrooge McFuck.
I have to vote for Scrooge McFuck.
Me
I have to
too,
vote
which
for
I
Scrooge
know
McFuck.
eliminates the chance that Kevin could win because we've chosen the same answer. But
I have to reveal that I've opened. I'm not kidding. I've fucking opened for Mercules before. As a hip hop artist, I used to be a rapper, and I fucking opened for Mercules.
Amazing. Well, all right. The answer is Scrooge McFuck, but I'm awarding
Yes.
Kevin one bonus
no!
point for opening
Boom,
for
baby.
Hercules, which
It's a
is going
tie
to push
game.
us into this final round. Folks, this is sudden death.
I was like, well, it can't be
Yeah.
Mercules.
This is the final round. Wow,
Here it
yeah,
is.
that's
Here it is.
Scrooge McFuck was a little on the nose. I
I
apologize.
love that as a
So
name.
good.
Listen, if you have to build a whole game just to yell Scrooge McFuck once in
Yeah.
your life, you've
Yeah.
done the right thing.
I regret nothing. All right. Bonus round.
Mhm.
Which one of these bands is not playing at the Gathering of the Juggalos 2024? Is it Corvin's Breed, Dying Oath, or Jordan Step? Corvin's Breed, Dying Oath, or Jordan Step?
Feels like you're trying to
Yeah,
get us
you're
to
sort of
lean one
coaxing
way,
us
but,
towards Jordan's Step. It feels like you're really
Is it
downplaying the.
Jordan Step, Corvin's Breed.
I really like Corvin's Breed, so I'm going to hope that that's real. I'm going to go with Dying Oath.
I think Dying Oath is a real band. I'm pretty sure I've heard of Dying Oath. I haven't opened for Dying Oath, but I'm gonna take the bait. I'm gonna go with Jordan Step.
Sorry, guys. They're all real. Those are all real.
Everybody
It's
wins!
a tie. Because Juggalo is fellowship and fellowship is family. Whoop, whoop.
I should have brought back the correcto sound effects.
There was
Beautiful.
never a winner. There was always only loser. Only Juggalos.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
And I do want to pat the Gathering of the Juggalos on the back because while those names were all hilarious,
yes.
I recognized more names at the Gathering of the Juggalos. This is becoming something that we need to have on our radar as a festival to attend.
Right,
in the
up there
coming
with
years, because a lot
Lollapalooza.
of those bands, I was like, I'd go see Static X, no problem. I'd love to
Yeah.
see Static. I
Static
may have
X is
seen
great.
Static X before. I mean,
Yeah.
those guys got to be pushing 60, but still,
Yeah.
you can have Static in your 60s.
Tommy, how old is the profile picture you have for Gmail?
It's
God.
that's my first headshot, and I won't change it.
You look
It's-
so young.
And that's my first headshot I ever took. I believe it is 21 years old now.
That's amazing. Folks, Thomas, I have a segment for us to wrap up with. I don't want us to spin the wheel. I would like to introduce a segment at the risk of us doing more local news. I've emailed you both a script. You both have a role in each of these scripts. It's written by an incredible writer, a profound writer. I'll be reading in the lines for the other people that are not highlighted. Tommy, your lines are highlighted in yellow. Thomas, your lines are highlighted in green. Thomas, you'll be reading for young. And Tommy, you'll be reading old. Yeah, it's an incredible writer. So, be very generous to the script because the person who wrote it may be in the room. And I'll give you a hint. It ain't me. But I'll be
is it me?
It's just something I found in my inbox from
Was it written by one of your cats?
Maybe.
Wait, that explains all the meows in the script.
Oh, yeah. I think I might have written this a long time ago. We'll see.
I'll read
is this a morality play? Because if it is, I'm very excited. All right. Set the scene.
I'll be. Okay. So we're in a sports bar. There's a grandson and a grandfather sitting at a table together.
Does this have slurs in it, Kevin?
I may be censoring the last line I have.
Okay.
That's it. Don't worry. It's
all
just me who has to say it.
Hey, not on my account, boys. Say whatever you want. No.
Yes, I'll be censoring myself.
Okay, great.
Go
Let's
ahead.
See what
so, Tom, you'll be playing the old grandfather.
Great. It sure was nice of you to invite me out, David.
Oh, it's nothing, Grandpa.
I try to send you emails, but paper mail is so much more convenient.
That's so old-fashioned.
It'll happen to you someday,
I bet.
He notices a bro in the bar.
What is this place anyway?
It's just a sports bar. It's good. I come here a lot.
Well, in my day, there were certain regulations for patronage in restaurants.
What do you mean?
Ridiculous. Open door policy.
He calls a waiter.
Excuse me! My grandson comes here all the time. There's a somewhat questionable individual sitting over there. Could you please ask him to leave?
I'm sorry. Don't worry about it. Just, it's fine.
The waiter steps away.
Grandpa, what was that?
What do you mean?
You can't just ask the waiter to kick that man out.
What do you mean? I'm a loyal customer. I don't understand why I should have to sit across from some doucher.
Grandpa, Jesus, no one calls them that anymore.
That's what they are.
No, Grandpa, they're not. They're called brothered Americans now.
That's just ludicrous.
There are some other acceptable terms like bro for short, or more colloquially broski, broheem, or Scotty.
Ha! In my day when we saw a douchebag...
Grandpa!
We called it a douchebag.
Well, times have changed. You can't just discriminate against people because they're different from you.
Give him a good look. You'll change your tune. He's wearing a cap backwards while shielding his eyes from the sun with his hand.
That's how the traditional headdress is worn. Look, I'll try to explain this to you.
He's throwing a frisbee at the waitress.
It's okay. He can't help it. I know it's easy for you and I to resist, but he probably had to pound 3 brews before lunch.
That's absurd.
To you, Grandpa, to you. But that's the culture he lives in. Think of how much you'd drink if someone named Fat Kyle was primed to call you Justin Dweeber every minute of your life.
Fat Kyle, my foot. And this raging D-bag.
Grandpa.
Regular D-bag. Slapped the waitress on her bottom when she returned him his disc. How could he choose to behave that way?
It's not a choice. Did you choose not to objectify women? No, it came naturally to you. Some weren't born with that privilege.
I just don't see why people have to spoil our nice afternoon. The first one we've had in over a year.
Because, Grandpa, people like you need to see that people like him are more than loud, obnoxious misogynists. They're human beings. Human beings who, like it or not, deserve to be married just like anyone else.
Married?
Yes.
but they'd violate the whole purpose of a romantic union.
Just because you want it to be one way doesn't make it the only way. Marriage is about two people joining together for whatever reason they choose. If that reason happens to be that Stinky Chris or Phil the Pill wants to put that pussy on lockdown, you have to accept that.
But it's against God. He preached love.
Not everyone believes in your God. Seth MacFarlane is God for him and many just like him. And we as a society must allow bros, whether gay or straight, to marry insecure women, if that's what gets them the mad props they so thoroughly yearn for.
I just don't know.
The bro walks over to the table. Excuse me, dude, but I heard your old man shit from my table.
Oh, dude, I apologize.
I know that I'm like totes different from you. I understand the fuck out of that, but I want to fix things. No homo.
Oh, I see.
The name's FT. Fucking Tyler.
Oh, I'm Charles.
Chuck the truck. Pleased to skeet you, sir. I'm psyched to offer you this natty ice. It'd be an honor to slam it with you. Hands Charles a beer and pin to shotgun it with.
David?
It's okay, Grandpa. It's a ceremonial peace offering. I know it's hard, but you can do this.
Oh my.
Please, sir. Though we differ, as Dane Cook said, dude, smell my eyes. It would be dope to call you my bro.
Wow. You see one way for so long. You don't realize you've been blind the whole time. I'm truly sorry, sir. Here goes.
The beers as the old man does relatively well, but chokes and coughs at the end. And then my character says "ha ha" and calls him the F slur, which is really great writing, which we won't be putting in the show.
Okay.
And Finn, yes, and that's the scene.
Wonderful.
Thomas, great writing, man.
What the fuck is this?
What do you mean?
You've exposed me. This is
wow. You doxed him.
This is offensive on so many levels.
You know what? You want to know what? I want to say something. How old were you when you wrote that, Thomas?
I think I was probably in my early 20s.
Yes.
I think you were 22, I think, when you wrote it.
22. So I think most well-intentioned men, when they first begin doing sketch comedy writing, this is not anything, they feel an obligation or sensitivity towards the concept of bigotry, and they seek to normalize like a world where we call out bad behavior, but we're our little lizard brains that have not moved into our frontal cortex yet. Like we're all still in our lizard amygdala function brains that are just not sure if we should panic or eat or try to have sex with something.
I'm a lizard. Yeah.
No, not now. But then I think we all write stuff like that. I just want to empathize with you on a level and try and relate to you. I'm a little older than you guys, and that's okay. But I wrote a sketch that was two announcers, and then the one announcer was I kept saying things that seemed racist, but then were justified by the name being the names of the family. Like the family's last name was Black. And then they'd be like, oh boy, here come the Blacks. And then it was like, oh no, it's Stephen and Crystal Black. Yeah. And I thought that was Lorne Michaels, Call Me Up, Baby. And and then I also wrote a sketch which would now get me not only canceled, it would get me fired, maybe possibly put somewhere in a where dangerous thinkers go. That was called Straight Crimes, and it was a high school where everyone was gay and they bullied the straight kid, and it was meant to be. It's not funny. It's a horrible. It's funny that I wrote it.
It's so funny that it exists.
It's funny that it exists, and hopefully will never be seen. I just want to point out, like, these were a 19-year-old me was like, the way I can let people know that I don't care and support them if they're gay is to write this strange, not funny, very glib
Yeah.
It's a little bit like what Tarantino did for the Jews with Glorious Bastards.
He's like, what if we killed Hitler and you guys were all tough alpha males? Like,
what if you guys were monsters who killed a bunch of
Eli
people?
Roth's pretty tall. I digress. All I'm saying is, Thomas,
you could just say I didn't like it. Like you didn't have to go into all that. I get it. It sucked. Whatever.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I'm simply saying sketch writing and the comedic brain of men, and I'm not a woman.
You had to resort to explaining neuroscience to be delicate with your opinion on my sketch.
No. I didn't have to. I wanted to.
Oh my God.
You know, I hate to say when people say they have to do something, I got to explain.
It was a treat. It was a treat. I just, truthfully, I was digging around for something, and I found an email from I think 2013, and I thought,
I'll be honest, that sketch doesn't not have legs with a little bit of a punch up.
Yeah.
In today's culture, maybe you do it like. You take aim at a certain subgenre, bro.
Bros are definitely out of fashion.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's a sticky. We need to cut out the when you say that they're called brothered Americans, because it sounds like you're making a reference to black people. You're not, just because you're not black.
And
that's black people like African American, not black people like families with the last name Black.
To be clear.
There's some sensitive content that references indigenous culture. I kind of think it's okay that the bro uses a slur only because it's in his character.
I would say the twist.
I don't think I'm endorsing that.
I think it works. I think
it feels
works.
genuine to me, and not only genuine, it felt good to read it.
We edited it out. We did, but Tommy said it.
The thing was, we had to change the show because Tommy kept taking my line.
Yeah, Kevin specified he'd be reading that character, but Tommy.
Yeah, why did your eyes light up? You're like, there will be something at the end that I'll edit out.
Yeah, I also just really wanted to get a recording of Thomas saying, "And as a society, we must allow bros, whether gay or straight, to marry insecure women." I think that's good.
That's kind of my favorite line. That's kind of my favorite joke in the
Also,
sketch,
guys, subscribe to the Oops All Segments Patreon to hear all three of us use the hard F slur as a little bit of a perk this month
for the hard F supercut.
But it's just that it's like a second and a half long.
It's that under that's the audio track, and the video track is Tommy Bechtold's death reel. That's just
me getting crushed by a rock, stabbed in the stomach. It'll be great. It'll be fine.
This has been a surprisingly emotional episode for all of us. I what little hope I had left is now gone.
It was great to be here one last time, guys. Thanks so much.
Anything left you would like to plug before we wrap up?
I don't think it'd be a good idea to direct anyone towards my social pages.
No.
You can find me at Tommy Bechtold everywhere, and if you're at San Diego Comic-Con for any reason, look for me.
Great.
Look for me because I'm missing. If you're seeing this, I've gone missing.
Brendan Fraser's ghost has kidnapped him. Don't
say his name.
Eat a meatball sub, jack off, be like the whale. And if you're enjoying the show, you can rate us 5 stars. And you can follow us to recommend to our friends. You can also check out Club Soda Improv at the Winnipeg Fringe Festival.
That's right, baby.
Already started by the time this episode is out, so please come support us.
Yeah, come support us. Come see us. Come see Club Soda Improv. Come see the big improv show. Come see, I'll be performing in all of them all the time. Thomas will be performing them. By the time this episode is out, practically all of them all of the time. It's a great time to see shows. Check out What We Do in the Basement, Thomas and I's D&D podcast. Things are going crazy. Thomas has finally left the show after years of me trying to get him to go. So he did the show for about 70 episodes, and then he parted ways, and we're at episode like 74, 75. So now he's just an audience member. Now he doesn't even know what the fuck is coming.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's exciting.
I'm as confused and frustrated as you now, listeners.
How dare you? How dare you? And folks, that's it. That's all. Be safe out there, and I guess vote.
Oh, and Mom, if you're listening, I just wanted to explain one reference to you. Slam ball is basketball with trampolines.
Yes!
So that's what we were talking about.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
You can do little flips and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And Mom, if you're listening, how did you escape hell?
Correcto!